Bowlingotter
Game review.
This is a tale of two reviews. When we started playing Lex Mortis, it was on Steam Early Access. We started it up and saw an attractive CryEngine landscape and a map with a bunch of objectives that led to a couple of haunted houses. Seemed like a cool idea, right? An open world indie horror game. So when we came across the terrible physics, poor translation, and pointless backtracking, we were more inclined to forgive it. After all, this game had just been released under the Early Access banner when we'd started it, so we were happy to keep in mind that it was an unfinished game. There's time for these things to be addressed. I was set to rate this as a wait and see Early Access title. But then we started the game up for our third and final video. All our save data was lost, so we had to play it all over again. When you play Early Access games, there are updates and things are gonna go wrong. But that's when we noticed. We were apparently playing what the developer considered to be a finished product.
Oh dear! Now you've done it.
I couldn't make a left turn. Guys, couldn't make a left turn.
Oh dear. Look what you did!
That's a Hummer in our finished game.
This was version 1.1 and it was no longer on Early Access. It was a full release on the Steam storefront. That's when this review took a turn. Now I'm driving a featherweight Hummer and having a laugh at the lack of effort in translating the dialogue. I'm cursing the terrible lighting in the indoor environments, and ridiculing the abuse of an open world system. But worst of all, I've got to stand here and say, once again, that there's no way this game is finished, and that I can only recommend that you avoid it. It's disappointing because the first impressions really aren't all that bad. Building on CryEngine pretty much makes your game attractive by default, and Lex Mortis is no exception. The outdoor environments look really nice. I was pretty happy to find a map with noted locations on it. It gave me that open world feeling, even if the entire map was exposed outright and didn't require any discovery. The first thing I was tasked with was exploring a house to try to track down the protagonist's father, who had apparently reached out asking for help because people were disappearing on his home island of Birdwood. Once I got there, I found myself walking through a run-of-the-mill indie horror haunted house. There were a couple scares and some nice tension.
Oh. A key. Key's picked.
Noise! That is a
This is a really creepy.
Shit.
Oh my god! That scared the crap out of me!
But it was all too familiar. Slowly walking through each room, reading notes, and getting keys. And it was dark. Really dark. And no flashlight. Once I went through it, the player character passed out and woke up outside again. From there, much of the game consisted of walking to a designated spot on the map, maybe collecting something, and then walking somewhere else, usually involving an element of backtracking. In one sequence, it took several minutes to walk to a car that was marked as an objective. Once I got there, I learned it was out of fuel.
Yeah!
Alright, find some fuel.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Alright, let's get out.
Really?
So much for that, guys!
What? What?
Let's do some more backtracking, shall we?
So I had to walk back from the direction that I came from for another couple minutes to pick up a fuel can. Then I had to walk all the way back again to get that fuel in the car. It was probably close to 10 minutes spent in what felt like completely wasted time, walking back and forth between spots on the map that I had already been to before. Worst of all, the car was damn near useless. It's a full-on Humvee, but the physics made it feel light as a feather. And I only discovered that after I had already spent a stupid amount of time trying to drive through an invisible wall in the middle of an open road.
Good job!
I just want to walk there. I don't want to drive.
No,
what is going on? Why is this? What? Why am I tipping over right now? Why am I still moving?
Oh, but you're look at you standing on the car.
I'm getting the hell out of this thing. I was looking at the sky. But what else am I gonna do except drive straight? I didn't do anything but look at all that open area. What knocked me over? What magic knocked me over?
And after it inevitably tipped over, it stayed that way forever with no way to reset it. After having spent all that time walking to the car, walking to the fuel, walking back to the car, and then trying not to be blown over by a faint breeze, I could have walked all the way to the destination faster, which was the Kirch, because the developer couldn't be bothered to proofread.
Slow down. Okay, current objective.
Find the Kirch!
Find the
Kirch!
Let's find the Kirch!
Antagonists eventually show up as alien invaders, and their arrival triggers some stealth horror sequences. These parts are nice diversions in that they require some interactivity and strategy to get through, but they're really not difficult. The most frustrating part of these areas is that everything is so terribly dark. There are lanterns and even a flashlight in the game, but they're just objects sitting on the ground. You can't actually pick them up, so we're essentially being trolled. A flashlight? I can't pick it up!
No!
I can't take it! Come on!
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so mean!
There are a few different areas which do a decent job at keeping the environments varied from beginning to end. But the backtracking disguised as open world just made everything take longer without any feeling of exploration. And it was all topped off with a moral decision at the end, which basically amounted to choosing whether to destroy all of the aliens or upload them to YouTube. Lex Mortis isn't a good game, and it was released way too early. And that's crazy because it was already released on early access. I have no idea why it was rushed out as a full release right away. But now it's on Steam at $9.99 and I can't recommend it. It's not the worst game I played this year, but that's because I already played one late night deadline. Save your money and avoid this one. So here's some comments that our viewers had after watching our full playthrough on YouTube. Shanice says, "This is still a broken ass game. It had good potential with the atmosphere. Kinda wish the dev wasn't too eager to put this out yet and work on it more." Joni Dip says, "I got headaches. I don't like this game." Timma73 says, "The darkness in this game is absurd. Give the player a flashlight or a lantern. This much darkness is annoying, not scary." And Steve Doherty tops it off with, "What a pile of shite this game was." Looks like you guys agreed with me on this one. At the time of this filming, there were absolutely no dissenting opinions by the time our series was over. If you haven't seen our playthrough, click the annotation for the playlist, and click the other one for a little song I dedicated to the featherweight Hummer. If you liked this video, go ahead and click that like button, and we'll see you next time.
I could have gotten there faster by walking all the way to the coach. Walking all the way to the coach.